The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, another day, another Republican uses a racist term from their youth that hasn't been used for decades and apologizes only that people were offended and says that they have a friend who is part of the offended group. That's basically the format, right, Lewis? Like if we were to stencil out or use a template for how these things go, that's the format. You say something, part of the apology is that it was from your youth, part of the apology isn't really an apology, and then you mentioned you've got a friend in that group, so it's cool.
Yeah, you know, I think instead of using the friend thing, they should probably just say, of course, in this case, it was a black person who was being insulted. They could just say, you know what, I'm 1/100th African American.
That would be the better way to go, yeah. So then it's really you're talking about yourself. What
and
are we
impossible
talking about?
to prove.
Well, you'll remember we had the audio of Alaska Congressman Don Young admitting that technology has impacted the market, and in the process, he used the term wetbacks to talk about the workers his father employed. Now we have County Commissioner Jim Gile, 68 years old, from Saline County, Kansas. He was in a study session with some other commissioners, and the subject of hiring an architect came up, and he said, you know what? I actually want to hire a real architect. I don't want to have anybody nigger-rigging it. What the hell, Lewis? That's not what he wants. That wouldn't be good. We actually have the audio. Take a listen to this. It's quite compelling, I must say.
Because I guarantee it'll be the same if you go to nigger-rigging it. But I what did you say, Jimmy? Afro-America.
So everybody laughs. And when he's asked, what was that about? He said, I mean Afro-Americanizing it. Afro-Americanized. This guy is funny, isn't he?
No, not really.
So what's the follow-up been? The follow-up was that he had a bad choice of words, of course, and that he grew up around the term. Hey, 50 years ago, people used to use that term, Lewis. How could you really expect him to have I mean, it's only 50 years.
Has he been asleep for 50 years?
Stop using it. He also said, I'm not a prejudiced person. I've built habitat homes for colored people.
Wow, what a saint.
It's usually not good to use offensive terms in the apology. That's just a general thing.
Yeah.
Usually when you do listen, we know the apology is completely insincere. At least mask the lack of sincerity by not using the term colored people.
I mean, clearly we're dealing with someone who just has no clue, no concept of
reality. He
reality.
also added, and then this is the cherry on top. We have, so I would say like the cupcake is the nigger-rigging. The frosting is saying he's built homes for colored people.
Habitat homes.
And the cherry on top is saying that he has a close black friend who he regards as a sister. What else do we need? That it's also it's a Jewish woman. It's an Ethiopian Jewish woman who is his black friend. He's got all the bases covered.
In other news, they're no longer friends.
I'm offended by the apology, to be completely honest. Like the apology here, Natan, is almost as offensive as the initial comment.
Yeah, I was just thinking that when these things happen, we always tend to attribute it to the person having a racist ideology or racist intent or prejudiced beliefs. But, I mean, honestly, saying colored in the apology is almost evidence that he isn't actually a racist. He's just using these terms. He has no clue that it's a racist term. It's really an argument. I use.
It's really an argument that we've elected not an incredibly racist person, but an incredibly stupid person who has no idea how people have talked for the last 50 years in this country.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there was a time when basically everybody used that word, and it was just that, you know, that was the common word. It didn't carry the impact that it does now. 50 years ago was not that time. No.